Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Fangirlz Assemble. I'm here all the way across Kentucky with both Madelyn and Kristan. How are you both?
Good.
Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to be talking about our spooks list today. Talking about all the 6 titles that we selected for this October read. I have read, I think, all of them, and I think both Kristan and Maddie read 5 out of 6, but
yeah,
I'm the only one who did the homework. I'm
whoa, listen. I give partial credit. Also, I had no access to iZombie, but I did watch the show. So
okay. So you can speak to that.
I had access, but I also had a lot of work to do, so that counts.
Excuses. That's all I heard from both of you. Yeah. That's all I heard. You know what? So today we're gonna actually have our very fiery discussion, at least about one title that, it's gonna be Fariha versus Rest. I'm just trying to be, trying to create a drama that doesn't exist.
But right, it doesn't even matter. I was like, oh, I didn't like that book. Okay.
Yeah, cool. That's usually how our conversation always goes. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, okay, good for you. So before we get started, we want to talk about our sponsors. Who are they?
In stock trades.
And what people can find in those in-stock trades. Like, what is this about? Tell me. I never heard of them.
Uncollected editions. Right now, they're having an amazing damage sale. You should check that out. And there's also an Omnibroslive coupon code you can use for an extra 2% off. It's trick or treat.
Kristan, you were kind of cutting off.
Oh.
Oh.
There you go.
No, move your hand. Move your hand. We can sound like we can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah, now we can hear you fine.
Good
so whatever way you were keeping your hand was blocking the sound.
That's odd.
Yeah, now we can hear you perfectly. So tell us again what in-stock trade is about.
But I had my hands down. Anyway, it must have frozen up.
Okay, tell us what in-stock trade is about. This is going...
I'm going to restart, guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry.
This is a live show.
So, in stock trades, you can get all sorts of stuff like trade paperbacks and omnibuses and a lot of stuff from up to 42%, sometimes more. So right now there's a damages collection. So if you haven't heard, any damaged books by in-stock trades are usually about, 50% off? But now they're going to be more up until mid-November. So each week they get a little bit cheaper. And so you got to jump on it before it's too late. And when I say damages, anytime I bought a damaged book from in-stock trades, there's barely any damage to it. It's usually pretty perfect. So if there's a damaged book version of something that I want, I always buy damaged. Also, there is, until, midnight tonight, there is an Omnibus Collectors Network code for everyone that is trick or treat. If you use that code, you get extra 3% off. It does not stack with your loyalty
program
discount. Yeah. So, because if you don't know, if you buy books on in-stock trades, you then get an additional 2 to 3% off within 8 days of that purchase. Just to encourage you to keep buying and buying and buying, which,
we all do.
I do. So, check them out. Also, Fariha, how much do you have to spend to get free shipping?
$50 or more.
Or more. So, yeah.
So there's some awesome deals going on right now. And I think by November 6th, for 3 days, it's going to go up to as high as 85%. So
which is insane.
Yeah, which is insane. Maddie, you kind of look different than your usual. What's happening?
Yeah, so I figured since it's our Halloween episode, I would throw in one of my costumes. I was going to be lazy and just do one of those pajamas with the hood. But I realized I have Donna Troy, her rebirth costume from Titans. So I thought I'd put that on. There's a little, I can't show you that much because it's the whole thing, but yeah, and this is made by Alter Ego Creative. I commissioned her to make this. My friend Janelle.
Speaking of Alter Ego Creative, I also have a commission with her, which I am not going to say right now, but Maddie knows about it, and it's gonna be awesome because this is gonna be my look for the next year's all the cons that I'll be going to. And Janelle at Alter Ego, she was amazing. She kind of she did it for us. You're back. Say something right now.
InStockTrades.com.
Yeah. He's alive. From now on, if we ever like worry about someone, like, oh, say something, please say something. Are you alive? InStockTrades.com.
There you go.
Fine.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. Technical difficulty. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's rather we fix it than, you know, having to continuing on.
To be like, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Yeah, what'd you say? So before we get started, I wanted to actually show this to you guys. I thought that I will be able to do it properly, but so I got this book, the pop-up Hogwarts book, which Kristan.
Oh. Hold on.
You need to get on this.
Wait a second. Here we go. I'll be here during the show. Just
yeah, Kristan, you read that, and then I'm going to show what this is about.
That's the whole show. It's none of us talking. It's just like us reading books silently.
This is like a pop-up book. Can anyone see this?
Ooh, that's nice.
So it kind of like, you know, pops up to different parts of Hogwarts and different parts of like Harry Potter universe from the movies. This is like the, you know, the Quidditch thing and stuff like that. So, and each of them had like little pockets where there's like extra informations on this. But the thing is, the great part of it is there's like 5 different, you know, pages, and when you can actually open it to create the whole cinematic, you know, the cinematic set pretty much. Like, you know, the entire Hogwarts ground, you can create that, including Hogsmeade, by opening this. So I recently, like, you know, I've been kind of looking forward to it. I ordered it like when it first showed up on Amazon, and I got it. You know, it's pretty cool. So if you're a Potterhead like me, and you know you had some gift card in Amazon, go ahead and get it. I wouldn't recommend it to go out because this is $75. It's not worth $75, I would say. Like, I got it from Amazon when it was going for $30.
That's way
and by
better.
the time they actually send it, like, it would drop down to 25 because of, you know, the discounts and stuff. And then I got it with my Amazon points, so it was free. So I would recommend it, go out and get it, but it's pretty cool. And if you have someone, like if you're still available cheap on the Black Friday or whatever, and you want to give it for a Christmas gift, this is pretty cool. So if for any Potterheads like myself. So yeah, that's all I had.
It's super cool.
That's really cool.
And I also got
which book do you want to talk about first?
Oh, I wanted to say that I also got this Frankenstein Alive. To go with my last whale ever that I needed, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and with the illustration by Bernie Wrightson.
So cool. So envious.
Oh, I mean, this like illustration of this. I read this book, like this was the first book, like speculative fiction I think I've read, like back, you know, and I read it in Bangla, so I didn't understood what was happening. And I was also a kid. I didn't understood it was like all about the struggle of a genius and like, you know, man versus like all those things. But you know, this is like, if I wanted to have one, so I'm trying to find a nice illustration that I can show off. Oh, this is one. So look at this. Just look at this.
That's
marvelous.
Beautiful.
So this was like, you know, illustrated by Bernie Wrightson. I unfortunately found out about him after he passed away. And he actually was working on this. This book, this I think is a sequel that he wanted to write. And, you know, it also has all his illustration, like just gorgeous details. But I don't think he finished it. I think someone stepped in after he passed away. So additional Kelly Jones, he or she kind of fixed it. So I'm kind of happy about it. So looking forward to reading this. So these are like a 2, you know, my hauls.
Nice.
So which one we want to go with first?
I say we get the drama over with.
Oh, we got the
reverb. Also, you know, the order of less we're going to probably have to talk about the book to like the deeper stuff.
Right. Okay. So let's go with the negative out of the way so that we live in a positive note. Is that what you want? Or I don't know which way we want to go about this.
Take it away.
Huh?
You go for it.
Okay, so I feel bad to say this because I actually met Sarah Ryley, and she's amazing. Like, she's really amazing. So, and I don't know, I'm kind of freaking out about this, but I did not like this book. And the fact for that, like, the reason for that is they say that they're university students. And if this is what ladies in university is, our future is very grim because they all act like high school. And one of the things that I really cannot stand in any media is that, and I think it's me that's causing that sound. There is a weird back sound coming.
That might be me. 1 second. It's the Omnibus Collectors Network group. It's Jess. It's all Jess's fault right now, you guys.
Oh.
I'm gonna put this on mute, and maybe you guys will get it too. So I'm gonna put it. If it's your feedback on your computers, just remember to.
Okay, so now it's better. Okay, I'm not hearing this. So anyway, so one of the things like I kind of really like one trope that I really don't like is that anytime in a relationship there's one person that says, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, this is your job and you shouldn't be doing this job. You should be doing the job that I want you to do." I can't stand that. Like, anytime that happens, I feel like I'm done. I'm done with this. And I think this book has that. And I don't know, I just found it to be too squeezed, too cute. It really wasn't for me, guys. My soul is too dark for this.
That's fair. I mean, you've had that reaction to other books before, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
And then there's certain things with, like, relationships that if I feel like for you, and this is my assumption of you knowing you, like, if there's a thing that relationship-wise bothers you in real life, it'll bother you in the comic enough where you're like, no. Yeah. Like, oh, cheating in a marriage. Yeah. No, I can't like this book. And that's fine. We talked before about how, like, our own personal experiences, like, or, like, our own personal things, this taste can affect what kind of books we like.
Yeah, and I didn't like, that's the thing. Like, to me, it was a little bit too cute for me. And if they said this book in high school, like, if they were in high school, I'd be like, oh, perfect. It's okay. Because they were acting like high schoolers. Like, they were acting like middle schoolers, actually, throughout the book. And I don't know. That just...
I don't know. I would definitely think they were acting like high schoolers, but when you go from school to university, you're still a high schooler.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
When you go from high school to, like, university, it's not just going to automatically, like, change your personality. There's still a lot of stupid people.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, I think I was comparing them to the Giant Days ladies. Like, even though they were in
anybody, then that book's trash. Like, no matter what.
That's true. That's probably true. Because the thing is, like, I was actually thinking about that too. Like what you mentioned, that you graduate from high school to go to university, you just don't change overnight. But I think there was something about the Giant Days ladies because I felt like those were me. Like, versus
you're smarter maybe. And that's fine. Or more mature, even. Like,
right. But anyway, I don't want to talk. Whatever.
No,
it wasn't for me.
No,
What I'm saying that it wasn't for me. I'm over it. So you guys kind of say that the good things about this.
I mean, I love.
We love you, though, Sarah. If you ever come on the show and you please don't. I mean, it's okay. It's like it's my dark soul that's responsible for this, not your doing. So anyway.
All right, so I loved it. I love the art. I love the cutesiness. I love when people have crushes and they're just outrageous about it. Because there's people like that, you know what I mean? And I think for me, it's like I'm never getting somebody just fully expressing their emotion. I think there's I love that kind of stuff. I think, and it's pretty gay, and I liked that, and I liked the spookiness, and it was really goofy. I do admit that it can be overly goofy. The main girl, I mean, she's a lot. She's a lot of a person, but I find her to be very cute. So I really liked it.
Do we want to say
I like that kitten man?
I was just about to find kitten man.
Oh yeah, that was a good one though. I would say that. So
so over the top cutesy and dramatic, and that's why I think it's funny and it's fun, and the cat man, like it's all ridiculous and silly.
It's very like now Cartoon Network shows.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if this were a show on Cartoon Network, it would kill.
People,
like,
you're so right.
Absolutely. Put it like right behind or right before Steven Universe, and maybe in between that and Adventure Time or whatever. And this is like perfect. Like if this got out more, I feel like Tumblr and a lot of like cosplayers would really
like I need to
gravitate towards this
guy. Like,
someone's got to be that guy with his little shorts, and it becomes this little like cat mecha kind of dude. It's so good.
So the thing is, though, we didn't actually say what's the story about.
Oh yeah.
What is this story about? Kristan, do you wanna?
Yeah, it's.
Do you want to take it? Or you want me to take it?
I'll do it. This girl named Kim. That's Kim. It is called Kim Reaper, and she is a Grim Reaper. Do you get it?
Do you get it?
You get it. And then this girl, I forget her name. What's her name?
I don't remember either.
The goofy one, whatever.
The goofy one. She has a class with Kim, and she gets a crush on her. And it's about them and their relationship. And you know, Fariha's right. She's like, hi, I'm not sure you should be doing this because it's real dangerous and stuff, which is really understandable to me.
Is it though? You just know her. It's you inserted her in your life. Like you inserted yourself in her life. Now you're telling her not to do her job.
Also, this girl like immediately was like, I know what I'm not about. And she had her boundaries. And she's like, this is too far, which is impressive. Most girls would have just like,
yeah, that's true. But you know what? You're mentioning about this being a Cartoon Network show. Like, you know, I think if it was in as a cartoon, I would have enjoyed it. Like, I think it's the medium. Like, you know, I wasn't expecting this to be this, and I kind of went into it. But I think if I saw this as a cute Cartoon Network show, I'd be like, oh, how cute. And then kind of moved on from it.
Well, and Sarah Ryley, she also writes like a Rick and Morty spinoff comic.
Oh, okay.
Like it's goofy and stuff, just like, you know, it's kind of along these lines too, in a different way. But Justin Roiland, who co-created Rick and Morty, loved this apparently in the back. So. Yeah, I don't know. I loved it too.
All right. There's so would you recommend? Who do you recommend this book to?
I think Maddie's got it dead on. Like anybody who loves like Adventure Time and those Cartoon Network shows, Steven Universe, like, and you like gay books that are funny and cartoony and fun.
And I feel like this will appeal to a lot of people. But definitely, like, if I had to choose one demographic right away to recommend it to, I'd just be like, hey, do you enjoy these cartoons like Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, those types of things? Bee and Puppy Cat. If you enjoy those things, you're gonna like Kim Reaper for sure. I think it's a little extra spooky touch.
Oh, right.
I don't want to say it like that, but
yeah, I think like, you know, it's. Would you say that it's for like teens, or do you think it's a little bit?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think I would say just teens. I think teens would be more likely to enjoy it. I think that's fair to say, because I feel like if this were bigger, Tumblr would really post a lot of it. If that makes sense.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But
I hate Tumblr.
I think it's for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You say you hate Tumblr, but I feel like you don't really.
Yeah,
I feel like actually you're on it.
No, I know. I'm on it. I'm on it a lot. But the thing is, like, I'm too old to be here, and I hate myself to be here. But I don't know where else to go for those Chris Evans abs gif. So here I am.
This is too childish. Interesting.
Like, you know. So that's why. But some of the things I hear people say, I'm like, you know what? Hey, listen, once you get out of your parents' home, you live a life a little bit, you'll have a different idea. So shut up. Like,
yeah, or maybe they just have fun. And
yeah,
that's okay.
I know. This is me being like a total
Philip was like, anyone without a dark soul would enjoy this.
Exactly. There you go. If you don't have a dark soul, you know, read this. All right. Okay. So do you think we talked enough about this?
Oh yeah.
I think it's a pretty simple story. You know what I mean? So it's not like some of these other books we're going to talk about are, I mean, there's a lot to them, right? But Kim Reaper's not exactly like that. It's just like it's a short little romp. Short little fun, spooky romp.
They are coming out with, she's coming out with a spinoff right now called Vampire Island. So I know.
Oh, that sounds great.
I know.
Like, you know, I'll whatever. Yeah, I'll probably read it. You know, maybe it will clear some of my dark soul. So, you know, it's okay.
You know, she should do a spinoff with the Catman. And then we'll all...
yeah, I'll read that.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one, I think it's going to be a little shorter because Kristan and Maddie, neither of you read it, but you did watch the show, iZombie, by Chris.
So I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about it, or what how that premise develops, because I heard it's a lot different from the show.
So I watched the show, and now I've read the comics as well. So the thing is, like, the show is what I would say, the show is a sequel to the comic. If you think about it from that point of view, like, it has the same idea of zombie, like, you know, she needs to eat to keep her sanity. You know, she becomes a zombie by, you know, someone touched her or whatever. So based on that, it's very like it can almost be like, okay, where the comic ended, the show began. You know, you can kind of look at it from that point of view. But the comic book also has a little bit more in terms of, like, it has werewolf, mummy, ghost. Like, you know, it has like this whole, every classical monsters that you can think of, they're all in one town, and then all shit hits the fan. And it was one of those, like, really not funny. Like, you know, it was really funny at times. And you just enjoy it, and then you forget about it, because I read it about 2 weeks ago. I have no memory of it, but I remember.
So the overall mood of it, like, so iZombie is definitely very funny, because the creator, Rob Thomas, not the Matchbox 20, Rob Thomas,
he makes sure
other
that
Rob Thomas, he's very comedic and very witty, right? So the show feels a lot like Veronica Mars, feels a lot like a Buffy type of thing. So what does the comic feel like? Is it more darker? Is it darker?
No, it's not. It's kind of like the same feel as the TV show. So the thing is, like, I think I posted this. So hang on, let me find this picture. Are you okay? All right. So the thing is, I will just wait till Maddie comes back. We're having a lot of technical
difficulties. I have bronchitis, so...
Oh my god! I had bronchitis before. This thing is
it's not too bad. There's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, take a bunch of, like, cough syrup, hope it goes away in 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So the thing is, like...
get coughing.
Yeah. No, I would just kind of show that, you know, that in terms of the humor, this is kind of like one of the first things that happened. The guy who opens the door, he's a mummy. And then she's like, you know, the zombie from, like, the Shaun of the Dead. And then he's like a were-terrier. So he was bitten by a terrier and he becomes a were-terrier. Like, you know. And then she's actually really a ghost. So she put on a ghost sheet to become a ghost. So, if you know what I mean? So this is the kind of humor you were dealing with. Like, you know, I looked at it, I was like, like, you know, that's pretty funny. And it's only 28 issues, and I felt like, and it was canceled apparently. So the last arc, they kind of wrapped it up together. But I really enjoyed, like, you know, in between, there were like 2 arc stories that was happening, like, you know, just one-off, like, things that happened. And I wish that they kind of continued on that. Like, if they had continued on that for, like, you know, at least like a 40 issues, and then just go the last issue with a bang. And then I feel like in the end, it kind of became a little bit too big for scope-wise, like a lot more things were introduced. So yeah, I recommend reading it as, like, you know, one of those super light, if you have it in Hoopla or Comixology for, you know, unlimited. I wouldn't recommend going and spending money on it. Like, you know.
The omnibus looks so cool, though.
It is. But the thing is, like, at the same time, I got the omnibus for like $25, or maybe I think I got it on a trade. Like, I traded one omnibus and got like a whole bunch of other shit with it. So I don't feel very bad about it. But if I were paying full price, I don't think I would be happy.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So I would really recommend it for, like, you know, people of the show, like, who likes the show. Oh, the story is about this zombie girl who becomes a zombie, and then she has to eat brains to keep her sanity, and she has a ghost friend and a were-terrier who kind of goes out and saves the city town that they're in from being taken over for supernatural forces.
Which is crazy, because that is so different from the show.
Oh, it is.
Like, zombies are the only problem as of right now.
Right,
So
right,
she
right.
just like eats brains. She gets their memories or like pieces of their memories,
Same thing
and then
happens
solves
here.
crimes.
That's pretty much the only thing that connects the two worlds. But I can say that I would say that once the comic ended, the show began. You can look at it from that point of view.
Okay.
And by the way, their names are not the same. Like they're not the same people.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there no major?
No, there's no major. I was very upset. I needed my abs, and there was no major. But the thing is, though, there is actually a queer representation in it too. So which is kind of super cool. Like which I liked. So that's like, it has like it has a little bit. It will make you feel good. It's like not too light for my dark heart. My dark soul. What is it that I said? Dark soul.
Your dark soul.
Your dark soul.
Yeah. It's not too dark. It's appropriate amount of lightheartedness. So
Okay.
So that's what I would say. Like I said, hoopla it.
That sounds fair.
Okay. All right. So which one we want to go next?
Okay, so we have a couple options, right? Oh, Kristan, do you have a preference?
Yeah, because I feel like there's two we're going to talk about for a long time, and this isn't one.
Oh
Yeah.
Let's go with witches. Which I had no idea what this was going into, other than obviously there's something about witches, which are particularly horrifying in this.
So I see that, for one, real quick, you have the other version, and then I have the in-stock trades exclusive cover that I got for 79 cents. Humble brag. Okay, continue.
You're way cooler than I am. I paid more.
Oh, I have the coolest version of you all, and that's somewhere over there.
Yeah,
but it's
right.
Yeah, I got the hardcover that is signed by both Snyder and Jock.
Damn.
Sketch from Jock. But here's the thing, Kristan, what the story was about, and what did you think about it?
Okay, so the story's about this girl named Sailor. I was trying to find some art that wasn't horrific.
Horrific in what way? In a good way, or in like really
in like a bloody way? I didn't really want to show like bloody mess.
No, show us bloody mess. This is a Halloween. This is a Halloween.
Okay, just bloody mess, I guess. So there's this girl, Sailor. She's a teenager. She moves to a new town with her mom and dad, and weird stuff starts happening. And there are these creepy witches. And she ends up, I don't know what I can say that's not a spoiler at this point, honestly. But all this crazy stuff starts happening. I guess I'm spoiling images, but whatever.
Well, I think it's a hard book to describe still.
Yeah.
And it's only volume 1, so it's not like...
And there's a nice cliffhanger at the end, so...
So apparently the 7th issue came out as a Halloween special this year.
Oh.
Anyone read it?
I didn't see that.
Plus?
No, it's just a 1 issue.
Oh, okay. Okay, it recently came out, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, so... So I'm going to rely on you guys to tell me what happened in it, because I don't remember.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it.
Yeah,
so,
do we want to give spoilers already?
Yeah, spoilers.
Well, okay, here's the too long didn't read version, I guess.
Yeah.
So basically, witches in this book aren't the type of witches you would think about normally, like humanoid, really.
Right.
They're more horrific looking.
Yeah.
And you can sacrifice people in order to get things in return for them. So that's the basic world building of it. So if you say, hey, I want you to kill this person, and in return, can you help me live longer or do this and this and this? Then the witches will then go out and find that person. And they've been pledged is the word.
Right.
So you can pledge someone. Which is funny because pledge was also like an actual thing you could put on somebody, which just confuses me because I like using pledge to clean. So I was very confused. And I thought, what if they did use pledge to clean? That would be really funny. Or not clean, but like to pledge someone to a witch. But yeah, so and it that's the basic premise of the world. And then different people get pledged basically, but it focuses on this couple, this father and a mother, and the mother's in a wheelchair and they have a daughter, and she's been through something like a big traumatic thing where like she moved to a new town because her bully died. And basically, she has this big cloud over her where people think she's the one who killed her. Yes. but that's kind of confusing because maybe she did, maybe she didn't, or maybe she's the cause of it, maybe not. I won't spoil it for you, but wow, sorry, my breathing is bad. But yeah, that's the basic premise of it, and I think the big draw for people is not just Snyder's writing, but the crazy art in this, because it really is. I mean, it's very different.
Yeah,
there's a lot of. Very good. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I love Jock's art, and that was really good in it. But one thing I was actually thinking, and it happened like towards the end, was it all like a metaphor of her growing up, like leaving childhood and getting into the teen world kind of thing, like teenage years?
I didn't really see it like that. I just thought it was a really
just a weird
horrific situation. I don't know. So I have to be honest with you. It didn't really stick with me in any way.
Yeah, same.
I thought it was a neat premise, and maybe it's just because I finished watching like a horror show about witches, which we can talk about once we're done with talking about the books. I don't know. It just didn't stick with me, and I was really surprised because I love Snyder. And I don't know. I can't explain why. I just felt kind of like whatever.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I liked it, and I want to know what happens.
Yeah, and I'd like to read more. I'm not opposed to reading more about what happens to all these people, but I don't know.
So I don't know if this was involved. This short story was in the paperback as well about a different, like a different family. Was that in your paperback?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Can you describe the family?
Like that was like a teaser for the. That's what apparently they proposed to Image first. The proposal, it was at the very end.
Oh.
With the guy and the baby?
Yeah. Like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
in the end of mine.
I was more interested about that. I wanted to know what happened there because
I was mega confused with that. Yeah. So I was like, what?
Like, that just kind of showed up out of that kind of shows that it's not just that family, the Sailor Moon family or whatever their last name is not the only people who are going through this. Like, there are others with it, but as like, both, I agree with both Maddie and Kristan in terms of like, this is very unmemorable. Like, I just I walked out. I wasn't at the movies, but I was just like, oh, okay. I forgot it the next morning. I read it like,
it's a super neat premise.
Yeah, but...
You know what's funny? You mentioned that other story. Didn't know that was there. I totally stopped at this last page. And then there was all this, like, and I was like, I ain't got time.
I got time.
Well, honestly, I don't always read author notes at the end of stuff. Yeah. But I was like, huh, okay. And it got me because it said, who would you pledge? And I thought maybe it was like asking about who you'd pledge, but it's not. It's about Snyder's inspiration for writing this. But sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's a good question. Who would you pledge? Come on, say it.
Nobody. Oh my god.
Fictional character Ryley Finn from Buffy. Ain't that guy?
Oh,
really? Wow.
He's the worst character, Maddie.
That's fair.
Okay, so fictional character, Maddie. Who would you pledge?
A fictional character.
Yeah. Let's not talk about real life character. We all know the real life characters we would all pledge.
Oh, that's so true, girl.
Huh?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I don't have anybody that I'm like really angry about currently, so it's really hard to think about it. I don't stay angry at things usually. Like, I don't know.
I would actually pledge the entire cast and crew of The Star Is Born. I hated that movie, guys. I'm having a lot of hateful weeks. Like last week, I hated First Man. This week, I was not happy with that movie. I hated that movie. The entire cast and crew, including the light boy, like, or whatever it's called, Gaffey. Like, yeah, let's throw them in there too. Anyone who marketed, anyone who worked on it, anyone, all of them. Like multiple pledges. Oh, I should have said frictional. Oh, dang it. It's okay. I don't know. I hated that.
Your dark soul is showing.
Yeah, this is my dark soul just showing.
It's very good for Spooktober, though, honestly. So that works out just fine.
The be having a dark soul. Oh, you're dressing up as like Donna Troy Rebirth. This is me. Like, a dark soul on the internet. This is my costume.
All right, so
My gosh.
basically, you all made me feel better. So I'm glad that we all had basically kind of the same feeling about witches. I really was like, the cover looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yeah,
stuff
me
like this
too.
normally. I just wasn't blown away. So, but
this is
again,
Go for it.
so this month we've read so many phenomenal horror books. I think reading this today, because I read it today, it fell short of all those other things we read that were so good. And so I was just like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, and
This
I think
isn't what I wanted.
I was completely blown away by the cover, though, guys.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It feels nice. I don't regret this. 79 cents.
Did you get Miss Marvel stuff? I never saw this Miss Marvel stuff behind you.
Well, okay, so I'm sitting in a kotatsu that we bought. So it's a lower table. It's a Japanese-style table, by the way. It has a heater under it.
Now I
It's
see what you
wonderful.
mean.
So now I'm lower to the ground. That's where my Marvel collection is, which is very small.
Okay.
Because the trades are so thin. So I only buy them if they're really on sale. And I'm going to get more like omnibuses, but again, I just haven't started yet.
Cool.
But I have 2 Miss Marvel hardcovers. I need to get more.
Yes, there's 2 more. There's 2 more of it. 3 and 4 also out. So
No,
I was just
my
kind of
list.
surprised by that. But anyway, back to the thing. Okay, so we kind of there's like so it was 2 yes, 1 no for Kim Ripper, 1 yeah for like
Yeah.
iZombie, and 2 haven't read, 3 about witches. So next one, do we want to talk about our pick of the month, Saucer Country?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Okay.
I have that book, so I can actually like. First of all, I really like the cover.
Mhm.
This is a very nice,
It's a
thick
great cover.
book.
Yeah.
This
I
is
do
very
like
thick.
it, guys. It's not as floppy.
Yeah,
as
slip it open.
Oh, I know, that's one
But
thing.
I mean, the page quality is very nice.
Sure.
You can tell. You can tell you have a bunch of just like omnihos here because it's just like, yeah, this is nice. This is nice quality book.
These are really thick pages.
And so initially, apparently, it was published by Vertigo, which I didn't know. And somehow it moved to IDW, which was kind of weird because Vertigo, I don't know if Vertigo kind of works as Image, apparently. So, like it's creator-owned stuff. I don't know, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, now it's by IDW. So, even though it was our pick of the month, none of us has read it. And read it before we picked it. So we picked it. So tell us what the story about, because I am hella confused, you guys.
Okay, thank you. I felt really bad because.
Okay, apparently Kristan is the least confused of us. So Kristan, what's the story
Kristan,
about?
please.
Help us.
Okay, well, I mean, the Too Long Didn't Read version would be, it's about this woman, let's find her, here she is, who is the governor of New Mexico, and she runs for the presidency of the United States. I don't know why I'm saying it like that.
Yeah, I know.
And she has a horrible dream one night and realizes that she was definitely abducted by aliens. And from then on, she's trying to figure out more about what on earth happened to her, while also having this campaign and all these crazy things start happening, and there's government agencies and other people who are potentially abducted. And yeah, that's what it's about.
So the thing is, though, it's not just her who was abducted. Her ex-husband was abducted with her. And after this abduction, she decides to run as a United States president. So this is my spoiler thing. The most, unbelievable thing about the whole story was a Latina woman was elected as president of the United States. And that, to me, was the most unbelievable thing of this story.
Cool thing. That's what this is.
It was really cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It was very cool. But, I'm like...
It was cool that she's like, I've got to run for president because I know aliens are coming. So no matter what, I don't care what I've got to do. First, I got to be president because it's the only way I can save us. And I was like, yes, where's that, like, Independence Day movie for me? Like, that's what I want.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because of that, and the fact that she's very politically savvy and very cutthroat. Like, that was like really amazing. But I'm very confused, guys. The story.
What's confusing you?
Like, I think I'm more confused by was it real or it was not? Because there was a technology that can make people see or believe things that's not real. And there was like, I don't know.
When it got to the
someone saw aliens, but somebody else saw lizard people. So really, it could be anything. And I guess since this story's not done either, we're not going to have all our answers.
Well, yeah, so lizard people is like a thing that, I mean, if you Google that right now, you will find tons of conspiracy theories.
Right.
Crazy stuff about people in Hollywood, especially, being secret lizard people. You can follow a deep dive on YouTube if you're interested. Particularly the Shane Dawson conspiracy videos. Those are great.
So there's a little bit of that here too, because there are some people, like conspiracy theorists in there too. Like, it's a very classic alien abduction.
Yeah, and I love that they like actually mention like Close Encounters and X-Files, and like they have actual shout outs to like real media of aliens that we've seen. No Roswell mentioned, Patty, but whatever.
Well, they mentioned Roswell the thing, but not Roswell the show.
But no one's going to mention that terrible show that we loved.
But no, I don't know. I think like in the end, I felt like it wasn't quite like, kind of wrapped up. Like a lot of things was introduced and none of it was wrapped up. And then I went on to read Saucer State, which was a sequel to that. Then I didn't get my answers either. And as a matter of fact, it ended with a mega cliffhanger, which I'm not going to say. But then I'm like, oh, now I'm even more confused. Like,
are you more confused and also more intrigued though?
Yes, yes.
Still want to know what happened? Because that's the thing. I read this and I enjoyed it, and then I was like, yeah, what happened? Like, I gotta know more.
Exactly. Yeah, so, that's fair. That's fair to say. Like, I'm more, as much as I'm like, oh, okay, what? Like, I was enjoying as I was reading it, and I really needed to, like, wanting to keep reading it. But at the same time, I felt like I didn't get any of the answers. Like, the only thing that happened from start to finish that she became the president, but there was nothing else. As a matter of fact, they introduced more questions by issue 10 to 14 than answers. That's how I felt.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, there are a lot of plot lines.
Eventually answer them.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I really loved her strategist. Like, she's a Republican, but she was helping her. Yeah, she's like her name is Chloe, but she's like, she was very sassy, political operative. So I really liked her though. So, and then there's also, go for it, sorry.
The hallucination is part of the storyline where, the guy is seeing the people, and then we find out that was all a hoax. I loved that because like they got him too. They were like, we're going to figure out what on earth is actually going on. And they found the people, and it was like, oh, but really what's going on? So I'm interested.
Didn't really address any questions. Really, it was just kind of like, okay, well, now I have more questions.
Yeah, I got more questions than I got answers. But what do you think about the art, ladies?
I thought it was good.
I didn't hate it. Yeah, you were like, this is awful, and I'm like, is it? I don't know.
Well, my only issue is I kept confusing people.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just me being a bad reader or trying to read it too fast, but...
Are you saying that because you're a racist, you can't tell all Latin people apart?
No, it's not that, but I mean, the art did change and the style of certain characters would change, and it's still the same character, but they're drawn differently, and I just got really confused.
There was a point in the middle where the artist clearly changed, and it was like, what? And then it seemed like the artist changed. I don't know. But I know what you're talking about.
No, I mean, I thought that it was very 90s art, and I'm not a big fan of that, so...
I wouldn't say it's that bad. But that's just... I don't know.
I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of the art, but, I feel like people's expressions was kind of weird. Like, so... Okay, so what do you think about this, ladies? Where would you grade this?
I liked it. I want more of it. I think it would be a great omnibus when all of it comes out. And if it actually wraps up, especially, that would be a great one and done read.
Right. Maddie, what do you think?
I'm holding out to see how this all wraps up, because right now I'm not in love with it. I enjoyed reading it, but I didn't leave it thinking like, oh man, this is great.
But you are interested in reading.
Stories like this are really dependent on how they wrap everything up for me. So I need to read all of it before I can give it a really good review, because I need to see what they're going to do with all these side stories, right? Because there's also fairies, and there's aliens, and there's lizard people, and whatever else. I need to know how this all ends. And if they do that in a really good way, I'll praise the entire book. Because the end, sometimes there's some books that my enjoyment and my review is entirely dependent on the ending.
Correct.
And I feel like this is one of these. So if the ending is really good, I'll take back everything I said, and I'll be like, it's genius, it's wonderful. But it really just depends on that for me. So I don't have that yet.
But you are interested into reading more.
Yeah, I'd read more, because I have questions.
Yeah, so you're not like, oh, this is, I don't care about this. But, you know, you are interested into knowing the answers to the question. I think, like, you know, I'm falling between both Kristan and Maddie in the same sense that I really enjoyed it. There were aspects of it I really enjoyed. There were the questions that I really want answers to. And having read Saucer State now, I'm more curious about it. So from the writer's blog, Paul Cornell, that there is going to be one more arc. So, but the thing is, he posted that in January of this year. So I didn't see the, you know, the solicitation for it in IDW website. So I don't know what's the status of this is. But there is no way they're going to leave it the way they left Saucer State, because it was left with a very big cliffhanger. So I'm pretty sure they will come back. Also, in Paul Cornell is also the writer for Doctor Who. So I felt like there was a little bit of, I don't know. I feel like there is like a British authors, their idea of American government kind of shows in this a lot, because I feel like Warren Ellis, Garth Ennis, they both have this idea of Middle America and American politics that is kind of a little bit too simplified, I felt. And I think there's a little bit of that, it kind of shows over here. It's not a criticism in any way, but it is what it is. So
I am going to start asking our politicians if they've been abducted by UFOs, because apparently that's enough to derail an entire campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, like that woman that asked during the debate. I think that should be asked on every debate.
And they let her ask that. I was just like, oh, okay.
So it's also stated there is like some known people in there, because some of the things that was said, I was like, whoa, that is like, you know, gonna be like, you know, that's like, I'm like, oh, that's like a presidential tweet almost, like some of the things that people say. But yeah, if I ever get to be in a in a presidential debate, I'm gonna ask this question now. Have you ever been abducted by a UFO?
You know, like,
and I'm gonna wear my hijab while doing it.
Oh, definitely do that.
Definitely. And then Fariha will never be heard from again.
We can't have that happen.
J-Rock said Trump has been abducted. It's so obvious. I'm not going to get into politics, but that's a really funny thing.
That's funny.
Oh my god. Because there is actually a character like that in Saucer State.
So obvious. He's been abducted, of course.
Oh my god. Okay, that's amazing.
Read the other Alien comics. That's what this made me think about. I was like, man, like, what's another good Alien comic? I can't even think of one.
I've never read an Alien comic. That's not like, you know,
Yeah.
hot aliens with superpowers.
I would like more.
Well, no, I think all Superman comics are Alien comics.
Well, yeah, I mean, not those type of aliens, right? So not like Martian Manhunter or Starfire or whatever.
You just said, oh, not like Martian.
Yeah, I don't know of any like this type of alien comic.
Like, this is a very classical, very classic, very X-Files, very, like, you know, regular alien story. I haven't actually. I mean, unless you, like, you know, if you want to consider.
Lee says The Woods is a great alien comic. And that's another, like, horror comic, isn't it? The Woods?
Which one? The Woods?
Yeah.
Boom puts it out. I read the first, like, 3 trades. I don't remember Aliens, but I did read it a long time ago. So, maybe.
What about Descender?
Lee's recommended that one a lot, so I'm going to put that on my list.
Okay. What about Descender?
No, Descender is, like, robots and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I guess there's maybe kind of... It's not really what it's about, though.
It's not the gray, like, you know, those classic, like, those shaped alien things.
Like, what, you know, what's the typical... It's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot about where there's extraterrestrial, like I think the entire Star Trek can be considered that, but it's not those whole gray, like unknown, we come in peace kind of
When you make
story.
a point about like classic X-Files kind of thing, like, I mean, obviously there are X-Files comics, but beyond that.
Right. So yeah, viewers, if you know about anything, let us know. Go to our Instagram and let us know about that, or over here as well. All right, so we're saying it was good, but needs, like, we need to see the ending of it, and but we are all curious about it. All right, okay, so that's the last, like, kind of smaller things out of the way. So do we want to go Rachel Rising next?
Oh, I love Rachel Rising. Let's talk about it.
All right. So what's the story about Maddie?
Okay, so basically Rachel gets murdered. Not great. But she comes back to life. But so she gets strangled to death. So she wakes up in the ground, digs herself out. She's alive, but her eyes look crazy, and she has the rope mark around her neck where she was strangled. And so it starts out as as a journey to figure out why she's alive again, and also figure out who kills her. But along the way, some other people die and come back as well, along with her best friend, and then 2 other women. And so the story keeps opening up more and more. I don't want to spoil it for you because the twists are really, really great. But there's a big overarching story with a lot of really cool characters and really a lot of cool lady characters. And just when you think you know who the big bad is, it changes. And it felt, reading this book looked and felt like watching a TV show.
Correct.
And it reminded me so much of watching like Buffy or Charmed or Lost Girl or, any sort of like fantasy sci-fi-esque shows like this, because there's a lot of humor in it.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe, the little girl, quote unquote, had a lot of really good puns and a lot of really good jokes. The art is beautiful. Like, I can visualize these women on screen. Like, I would forget that I was reading a comic book. I loved all of it. I mean, the only issue I have with it, of course, is the ending, which I won't talk too much about. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it leaves itself open to be continued, and we haven't gotten anything. Terry Moore did say that he wants to continue, but maybe not with those characters, but in the same universe, because he's very busy with Strangers in Paradise, because that's his like #1 love.
I still don't know why.
Love it.
Okay.
Rachel Rising is perfect. I'm so upset I'm not going to get more of it. I don't know how it's not a TV show already. It was going to be one, but it never went anywhere. Like, it needs to be the next big Netflix comic show or like AMC comic show or something, but just give me Rachel Rising, please. And a really cool queer character in it. She was so cool. Aunt Johnny was like, I've never seen like a more butch lesbian in a comic like that. Especially with that body type and everything else, I was like, I don't know why, but it made me so happy. I was like, oh my God, look at you. You're so cool. Like, whoa.
And the thing is, like, one thing about Terry Moore, I would say that he draws women so well. Like, it's just like, it's all realistic body type and all different kinds of body type. And I always kind of enjoyed Terry Moore's art. You okay, Maddie?
Yeah, sorry, my eyes get dry. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Because you were just there doing this. I'm like, what's happening right now?
Yeah, I have to close them really hard. It's dry. So if I ever do that in the show, guys, just know that I'm okay. It's just my eyes are dry.
All right. So, Kristan, what did you think of the story or the book?
I think I'm waiting for Spoiler City time, because I have...
It is Spoiler City time now. We just announced it.
Okay, it's Spoiler City time. I will start with saying I loved it. I also loved Aunt Johnny. She was great. You guys, speaking of Aunt Johnny, did I miss the part where they talked about this, or was it never talked about again? The incision on her head.
They never talk about it. They never talk about it. No, because all he says is, oh man, okay, I'm going to use some coarse language, everyone. Okay, to talk about this. Basically, it's like, oh man, I've been fucking my dead wife, and she's been dead for a long time. It sucks. It's kind of gross. This is a fresh one. It's going to be great. But I don't think he ever did it. And also, the incision was weird, because he puts the incision in, and at first, my first thought with the way he was talking about her was that, oh no, he's trying to put his dick in that. But then there's something it's like he put something in her head.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And I was like, okay, and we never talk about it. But Terry Moore put a ton of these. He sprinkles these little things, these little side things, and never talks about them. Like the big guy with the jars of heads in him, and like the jars of heads that he has next to him. He sits on the porch. Never talks about that. Never.
So the thing is, like, this is one of the Terry Moore's thing, I think, because I've read every work by him by now. Like, well, I attempted to read Strangers in Paradise and gave out after 30 issues. I'm like, my life is worth more than this. It's too good for my dark soul, you guys. It was too much. So Echo also had the same problem. There was one plot thread that was never considered again. I'm like, what just happened? And if you go back in the Facebook group, I think after I finished reading Rachel Rising, next day I said hey, I just forgot to remember this. What happened? And everyone's answer was the same. It was never brought up again. It is so annoying.
It's ridiculous. I can't.
Yeah, because I had the same thing as what you said, Maddie. I'm like, oh no, and then never brought again.
I don't know. I have no idea why, and they don't really explain it. There's a lot of that little stuff, which is why I feel like it'd be a really good TV show, because I feel like the TV show could do that main story, and explaining those little extra things would be great. Because he just gave you little sprinkles of stuff throughout, like the creepy mortician and his dead wife, and what's the deal with that? Yeah. I would like to know more. The other mortician's assistant, I always forget his name. I think he's the bigger guy, that gets with the best friend, the bald guy who's really sweet. Why can she feel him, and why can he see Lady Death?
Right.
What's up with that? That's why I think as a TV show, you have an opportunity, and you have episodes you need to fill. You've been given all of these open little side stories. But as a reader who's reading the book that he's not going to continue, for me, even though he left it open to be continued, I'm never going to know, which sucks, because you don't have to do that. You can tell us.
Maddie, are you okay?
Bullshit. I love Rachel Rising, and I'm mad about it. Me, my chicken.
So anyway, Kristan, you have another point that you wanted to talk about.
That was my big thing. I'm still bothered. That's really it. I mean, I love the characters.
I know that you get caught up with little plot holes. We still haven't talked about where's that baby, Hickman?
Oh my god!
From Hickman's Avengers, of all the things that was not there, she's like, where's that baby, guys? The baby.
I want to produce something so weird and not go back to it. The baby, the head incision. I'll never stop talking about these things ever again. You guys did this to me. You were like, let's read Rachel Rising. I'm like, great, I've never read it.
The only reason I said Rachel Rising, I'm like, that's one book I've already read. I have to read one.
Yeah, and I had to read it for my other show.
So we're like, let's do Rachel Rising. Yeah, so I actually read the book last year, and that's one of the power of that's how much the story grabbed me is I still remember most of it. I still remember the humor of it, and I kind of did a very quick read through. And as I was reading them, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. And there was a couple of places I was still chuckling. So that I think is kind of one of those things that yes, I was also bothered by. I'm like, because this time I'm like, oh, maybe somewhere else they talked about it, I missed it, but then no, there wasn't. So there was a little bit of that too. And Zoe or Zoe, oh my god,
I love her so much.
She's immortal, probably. She appears to be 11, but she's clearly not. And she's so sassy. She has she just throws sass at you. Doesn't matter. So many puns. I really love this one thing that Rachel is kind of standing there looking outside, and she's like, "Are you done being a Batman?" I thought that was.
And then she's like, the Dark Knight Winkins.
Yeah, she's just there, yeah. And then she just shows up to places, and you're like, where did you come from? I just love that character so much.
Or when that one character, I won't spoil it, died, and there's all the hands around. She's like, man, somebody should really give her a hand. Yes, Zoe, they're so good. They're really. Terry Moore does a great job with all the villains because they're so multifaceted, and not everyone can do that. because I really did care about everyone and the story. And the story develops in such a good way in there, too, because it just gives you little hints at a time.
Right.
Until it fully develops, which I'm always a big fan of when it can be executed well. And he did a really good job.
Yeah, and I think, like, that's one of his, and what you say also, like, it looks like it's like a movie because, he draws and everything, and I think because it's all black and white, he probably doesn't care too much about coloring, and it just flows. I just love it. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
Like, I was happy to see Earl and Jet get together. We're still in spoilers, guys. And I love the way it was done. It wasn't so, like, cliche, like you kind of maybe would expect from something else, and it's still really worth it. It's, like, wonderful. I mean, me happy.
Right, like, that's, like, that kind of... I love that kind of representation. Like, it's just a normal thing. Like, we're not going to make a big deal out of it. It's going to be normal. So this one has it all. So we're all giving it, a huge thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like the first one. We're all equivocally.
And for anyone interested in reading it, it's all on Comixology, unlimited for free.
Ooh, great. Okay. So I would actually recommend Revival as a similar story if we're kind of looking for similar story, because Revival has a very similar ladies coming to life from death, or a lot of people coming alive from death, and there's a mystery surrounding it, and there's a small town vibe and everything. So, and it's also drawn. The covers are done by your girl, Jenny Freshen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that's that. I would recommend that. Recommend people, like, if you are into that genre, to be like this as a supplement of that. It's not as funny, and it's more darker, but then Rachelizing, but so all right. So the last one, and this is probably the biggest one that we read, Locke and Key.
Yeah, so good.
Okay,
I can talk about that one real quick, or I can do the story breakdown.
Yeah, tell us the story breakdown. What's this about?
So after this, the father of this family dies. The kids and the mom move to a new house, their uncle's house, which their father grew up in. And the house is full of mysterious doors and mysterious mostly mysterious keys that when you use them unlock different powers, which sounds like a really cool kids fantasy book, right? Like Narnia or like Harry Potter or something, but that is not the case at all. It is very gory. There's a very long-running story and history behind all of this, and a very evil person who's out to get them all. Very 90s, early 2000s art style throughout, which is a bummer for some, but if you stick in, it's pretty great. Yeah, that's my quick TLDR.
What did you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. I really was surprised because the art was a turnoff at the beginning for me. Like, very much, I was like, oh, ugh, no. But I totally turned around on that. Absolutely. I love the art. I love the story. I thought all the characters developed in a great way. I was very impressed because the characters do grow. And not just, like, personally or emotionally, but, like, visually, these characters change throughout the story. It's a pretty long one. It's a pretty lengthy story. Because they're mourning, and they're also dealing with just being teenagers or kids, and they just have a lot to go through.
Yeah.
And just to see them go through that and deal with their own personal demons about their dad's death, and for some of them,
who was murdered in front of them.
Murdered in front of them is very bad. And then just to continue seeing death happen, and to also deal with basically the sins of their forebears, right?
Right.
And how to deal with that. So, It was pretty great, and it's real spooky. So I was really happy about it.
So, Kristan, this was your second read of this.
Yes.
So what was your what's your thought on this? Even after the second read, do you think it holds up?
Yeah, I read this like several years ago. I want to say a few years ago. To the point where like I remember parts of it, but not all of it. In fact, I didn't remember it being as creepy as it was. Because that villain.
Oh man.
Distantly creepy.
And so 90s with this little soul bad.
Oh my gosh, yeah. In the room too.
He's actually from that time. Like he he was like, he's like a kid still, like he's trapped in the body, like a demon trapped in the body.
Well, that's spoilers.
Huh? Well, is it though?
Well, whatever.
Anyway, but
you guys should have read it.
Yeah, you guys all should have read it. That's right. It's like, yeah. So anyway, okay. Sorry, continue on, Kristan.
Oh yeah. I was still like super. I didn't even remember how it ended. So I guess it's just I've read a lot since then. It's been a while. But I loved it back then. I was looking at my Goodreads ratings, and they still matched up perfectly. Where I just super loved it every time. And I totally forgot the ending, and I love the ending, guys. And you know how I like a good ending.
Right, and that's one thing I would say, that it was a happy ending that was deserved. Like it wasn't like a forced happy ending because of we have to wrap everything in a bow and give it to you. But no, it was actually everyone deserved what they got, except for one person. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But everyone else kind of got what happened. And one thing I would say, this has 3 kids in it, 3 teenagers in it. Like not 3 main characters are teenagers. There is 3 supporting characters who are all teenagers, and I love them. And I hate teenagers. I can't stand teenagers.
They were all great, and I love that they were all different kinds of teenagers. It wasn't one stupid, annoying one, and you're like, okay, I get it. Like they all had their own distinct personalities. They were all people that like I knew in high school. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, you were this kind of person. I love that. They were all represented.
And Bode, the little kid, he's like, I'm now reading Calvin and Hobbes, and I'm obsessed with Calvin and Hobbes right now. And he actually reminded me a little bit of Calvin. Like, he's not as sassy, but he's like just the right amount of naughty, but you know that his heart is in the right place. And he's just a very curious little boy who goes around and finds things. So, yeah, I mean, that was one of the things I'm like, I cared for teenagers. That's huge, guys. That's huge. That shit doesn't happen ever. So I was very happy. And the thing is, like, there's also an autistic child in it.
He's so great.
I know, who's represented very well. I thought, he was like, he had his constraint, but he was still functioning with that, and he had something to do at the end. Like, he wasn't just a character, but he had to provide. He provided some help towards the end. Then there's also one character, I will say it's canon from now on. He has to be, even though it's a spoiler, but I'm not gonna name the names. He passed away, but I have to say he comes back and he becomes Spider Jerusalem in Transmetropolitan. Have you read Transmetropolitan?
No,
I haven't, but I thought that the whole time, just knowing the image.
Yes, right? There is a character. So because he has the exact same amount of tattoo, he's English, like Spider Jerusalem is. I think he is English. He's like, because all Warren Ellis's characters are like Warren Ellis. Like, they just, he just puts himself in there. But I was looking at the character the whole time, like, this is Spider Jerusalem. What's happening right now? So there is a character that, I'm going to say that's canon, that's Spider Jerusalem. And he's like equally reckless and equally brash. So yeah, but the thing is, the one thing I would say that while reading it, I read like a whole lot of Stephen King book in my youth. Like, I don't remember any of the story, so don't ask me to say that. But I felt like it was very much like it, the book.
Yes, I can see that. I never read the book, but as much as I know about it.
Like, it's just the same thing about like, the adults don't know what the kids see, or these are the people who will have to come back because something. There's like a lot of similarity to it, and like, you all know that my interaction with Joe Hill, like that.
Yeah.
Was so I was the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, did you steal it from your father, Joe? Did ya? So, but I'm just using like, it has like a little bit of like, you would feel the so if you are a Stephen King fan, you would find something similar here, So I highly recommend it. But I do want to talk about one thing I did not care for in this book, and it's a spoiler, but fuck it. It's all the raping of women. Yeah. Why was this a thing? Like, I just did not understand that. There was like the mother, she had to watch her husband pass away, and then she was also raped, and this was like used in such a lackadaisical way. Like, it wasn't enough that she was
I don't
already
even remember that.
Kinsey, the daughter, actually yells at her, "Oh, just because you were raped doesn't mean that."
She was like, "Get over it."
Oh, shit, I totally forgot that even happened.
Yeah, that happens, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so terrible!" Like, why? That just didn't need to happen. That
it was
like
also
one thing
like early. When does this come out?
2000.
Yeah.
It was like not 2000. Like, it was like late 2000. It was like Obama was president at that time. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I was not happy with that. I did not care for it. And then there's that another lady. She was also constantly raped against her. Like, that was not necessary at all. There was just enough just to psychologically torture them. Like, fine, just do the same thing as you're doing to all the gentlemen. Like, you don't need to introduce the element of rape for ladies. Like, why is this a thing? Like,
it didn't fit into the plot at all.
Exactly. No. That's my point. This has nothing to do with the plot. This was not mentioned. None of the ladies was ever like, there was no issues dedicated for them to get over it. As a matter of fact, one of the lady told by her daughter to get over it. And, she was actually like, why? Why was this a thing? I did not care for it. I didn't like it at all. That's just a piss poor way of storytelling. Ugh, like, seriously, I'm gonna make a pledge with all, like, young writers coming up and now. Like, stop doing that. Stop doing that, and I will fund your Kickstarter. But seriously, stop fucking doing that. Stop fucking putting, like, stupid references and, like, adding rape to the torture of ladies. That's not the only thing we ladies can be tortured with. Just stop fucking doing that.
Well, and speaking of that, like, Rachel Rising spoiler, but Rachel was also raped, and it's like, oh, wasn't enough to like kill her a million times? Okay, like, why?
Like, I did not actually remember that part, but when I was reading, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing. That's what happened. Like, stop it. That's what I'm saying. Stop it. Unless your book is going to be exclusively about that, stop it. Like, even then, don't. Just don't. Yeah. Let ladies write this. Just don't. Yeah, write about, no, as a matter of fact, no. Stop writing about sexual assault altogether. We don't care for, like, I don't even know what to say. I'm so enraged right now.
That's fair.
Yeah. But anyway, I also kind of didn't like the art that much. Because the eyes, everyone's eyes was like this.
That's fair. I mean, I think that was how a lot of people felt about it. Because it's kind of anime, but it's kind of not. It's that weird. It just reminds me of a weird period in the '90s where, like,
it wasn't
really like a lot of artists and comic artists. Of course, I wasn't really reading comics, but from what I saw, was like people were trying to meld the two styles, but none of them were doing it well. But
I feel like I got used to it, and I didn't like, because at first it was kind of jarring, and then like I started to kind of like it, and especially the eyes. I think with the villain, the eyes, it really did help that the eyes were so distinct, because you knew when he like went into a different body or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, creepy.
I also like that there was a lot of gender fluidity going on. Like, that was pretty cool. There was queer characters. That was also very interesting. Like, I love the
uncle
lore.
too, right? Because when he was a kid, he would always choose to like use that key to be a girl,
a lady. Yeah.
That was really interesting.
Yeah, I know. Like, and the thing is, like, all the keys, that was very imaginative. Like, a lot of imaginative keys. I love that one issue though, where it's like a February, I think it's called. Like, they were just going through all, like, it was like a montage kind of thing. I love that one though. But so I really enjoyed
6 volumes. Like, it really wrapped up well too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you think about how many keys there are and like how long of a story that could have been, but it wasn't, and it just was like the perfect amount.
Right. And the thing is, you end up caring for the villain in the end though, because it wasn't really, in his control.
Right, yeah.
And, he was a complete different person. Like, he was actually the best one of them all. Like, it's sad.
Yeah.
This would also be like an amazing miniseries.
Well, it will be coming. Netflix
finally.
is making it.
Because I know for a long time they were like, "Oh yeah, it's coming," and then
they made like a trailer or like a pilot for a long time ago. Jesse McCartney was the oldest brother.
I loved him. I met him at a Coconuts once.
Who's Jesse McCartney?
He's a singer. He was in Dream Street. I loved them.
I need to now look this up.
So I know this was on our reading list, but I need to talk about something.
Okay, I did not see this guy. He's so handsome.
So he's for what's his name? The main boy? Is that what we're talking about?
Like
I see that.
You do. I don't know. I feel like JC is too handsome for that. Like I wasn't. That's fine though. Like
why not? It's Hollywood.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something again.
But I really hope they get a good actor for Bode because that kid has a lot to do.
For real.
Yeah, that kid has a lot to do. Anyway, all right. So we're all giving it the whole 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 thumbs up. Like there's 6 pairs of 3 pairs of thumbs up. 6 thumbs up. It's completely, fully approved by Fangirlz Assemble. Locke and Key. Go read it. All right. Okay, Maddie, you wanted to say something.
Okay, so we finished our reviews. Good job, us. I need to talk about something else that I read this month.
Tell us.
And also something that just had a show this month.
Tell us.
2 days ago. So earlier this month, because it's Spooktober, and I wanted to read to get ready for the show, I read Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Woo!
Long story short, I thought it was mega boring. I didn't like it. So forget about that book.
No, but hey, hang on. Tell me why, because both of you didn't like it. I haven't read it, but you two, I hate things. You two love everything. So if it's boring to you, I might actually burn this book. So tell me why I should.
Okay. The art was fine. I thought it was pretty cool because it was very like classic style of a comic. The art, it felt like it was trying to call out to more traditional art because this is a different version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So it's still like in Archie comics land, but this show isn't indirectly related to isn't directly related to any other universe currently. So this one, I decided to take the story of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and make it darker.
Okay.
So she the premise is great, I think. It's very neat because she's like, witches in this universe are devil worshippers. So in order to become a witch officially, you go through a dark baptism when you turn 16. Right. And you sign your name in the Dark Lord's book. And you give up any connections, like any meaningful connections to the mortal world. Yada, 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 that happens. So Sabrina, like the original Sabrina, is half mortal, half witch. She's raised by her aunts because her parents have passed away. And she, unlike the original show, she has to make a choice to either be immortal or be a witch. And she's been raised in a regular high school. She has a boyfriend, Harvey Kinkle, and a lot of friends, and she has a good life. Although, I don't know, she puts a spell on Harvey. She has a cat named Salem who talks, which is great.
Amazing.
But the book just fell flat. The dialogue was boring. The art style, even though it was cool, was kind of boring, and it changed. It wasn't very consistent throughout the book. I don't even know how to describe. Maybe Kristan can better put this into words than me, but I just didn't feel like it really delivered. And there's only one volume too, because it came out forever ago and just never got finished. So it was indefinite hiatus. I just didn't care for it. There's too much going on. The villain, Madam Satan, she was cool looking, I guess, but I didn't really care about her motivations. Hilda and Zelda weren't really fun, and they're supposed to be fun. At least make your aunts fun in the show or the book, but I was mega bored.
Okay, all right.
Kristan, do you have a better? I feel like I should be able to better articulate why I don't like it, but I'm just like, it was bored.
So would you say that it was like witches? Like,
I think
I was angrily bored about this though, because I like Sabrina.
Angry bored.
I think you did.
I'm anger bored, you guys.
Yeah.
And you're giving it the justice it deserves. It does not deserve more than you just saying you're bored. Because here's the deal. I have checked that darn book out from the library. I don't know how many times within the past few years. Because I'm always like, I'll like this. Because it seems like I would. Just from the cover and the concept, right?
Yes.
And I've tried and tried and tried. I've never got through it all. So good job for you. Because I'm just, every time I'm bored to tears. And I'm like, I don't care about everything that's happening. Why am I wasting my time?
Yeah.
Give up, and then at some point I'll probably see it again, and I'll take it, and I'll be like, maybe I'll give it another try. I'm not doing it anymore. It's not worth it. It's boring. That's really it. That's all you need to know.
All right. Well, Kristan, are you putting something on your speaker?
No. It's supposed to be...
Oh, okay, because I feel like, it just, your voice kind of just comes and goes. But I think it's okay. All right. Okay, yeah, so it's, okay, it's boring. Okay, now tell us about the show.
Okay, the show is great. Now, I was fully prepared to start the show and hate it because I hated the comic. And I was so upset about it. I was like, why? And earlier this week, I did a show, A Near Mint Condition, about Rachel Rising. And I spent a good 15 minutes saying, why isn't Rachel Rising a show, but Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is? And that comic was so boring. Basically, it was my argument. I was like, it's so boring. I can't believe this. So I'm in love with the show. I just devoured it. They made some wonderful changes that I'm really, really happy about, because you pretty much get to the dark baptism pretty much right away. They do a very good job of building up the bigger themes and issues in the book. And it's just great. Sabrina's a much more likable character because she's very flat in the comics. She's loving her high school life. She's with her boyfriend Harvey Kinkle, which in the show she did not cast a spell on to make him like her, like in the comic, which was weird. And she still has all the, like, her aunts are a lot more fun, Hilda and Zelda, and they're much more like their TV show counterparts. I don't know if you watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah.
But Hilda's a much more fun one. She's much more open. She's a little sillier, and Zelda's the more practical one.
Right.
And they kind of introduced like a kind of a spooky school, which is really cool. Like that Sabrina has to go to learn magic while she's out of high school or whatever. But I think the best part of it is that they completely changed Madam Satan's character, which I really liked. I don't know the actress's name, but the actress also plays Missy on Doctor Who. I really like her. But the premise, the motivation for Madam Satan in the comics is that she was in love with Sabrina's father, Edward. But then Edward left her to marry the mortal, Sabrina's mother. And that's why she's come out to exact revenge on Sabrina. That's the whole point in the comic, which is just did not land. In this one, she's the mother of demons and like Satan's right-hand lady. Ooh. And so she's there to ensure that Sabrina signs the devil's book. That's her whole point. So she becomes like a mentor figure for her while also trying to like get in her way to like make her become this thing. But she's also protecting her because she's like, the devil doesn't want you to die. So I have to protect Sabrina while also like influencing her to make bad decisions. So Sabrina's just like this very headstrong main character who's just like, I want to be the best of both worlds, which gives me like a Lost Girl vibe. I don't know if you've ever seen Lost Girl. No. She's like a member of the Fae and she chooses neither good or bad. She wants to be in the center. She's kind of like this, but in like a not dramatic way. She's just like, I like neither side really matters to me and no one's giving me a good argument. Like, you want me to join the devil, but you're not really selling it to me. Like, I'm not really feeling that.
The undecided voters in 2016 election, like them?
Not like that.
We're so political tonight.
Yeah, we are. We're very political.
But although please vote. But anyways,
yes, please.
I really liked it, and I can't wait for you two to watch it because I'm eager to see what you think. Don't read the comic. It's garbage. Man, I never hate a book so much, but I'm like, it's garbage.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if two of you hated it, oh my God. Because, you guys have the brightest soul ever. I'm like the one with the dark soul that I hate shit. But, you do love everything. Like, I mean,
you read this, so you could trash it real good.
Oh yeah. That's that's actually like I was actually at my comic shop yesterday, and I was passed by it. I'm like, maybe I should, just so I can trash the shit out of it, like But then again, I love my money too much, so I didn't.
Go to the library and get it.
Huh? Oh yeah, that's true. Well, I can't tear up a library book.
Oh, I don't literal trash like with your words.
Okay, I see. So, have you seen the show, Kristan?
No, but I want to.
You're gonna love it. I've been telling everyone to watch it. Please
so, is it like? So he questioned that I don't know. I mean, it's on Netflix. I have Netflix, so I should be go and see it. Because my only concern that I have is a little bit too teen drama.
No.
Okay.
No. So it's, technically, I guess they could relate it to Riverdale eventually if they wanted to. But it's not at all. Like, Riverdale's very teen angst.
Mm-hmm.
Very CW teen angst.
But also abs for you.
Yeah, that's what Kristan sent me. It's like, she sent me a message like, you should watch this. It's like an ab city. I'm like, ab city? When can I move there?
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is not at all like that. Even though you have it centered on a high school student, it doesn't feel like that at all. Also, something I forgot to mention, one of her friends is trans, and they deal with it in the coolest way. And I love it. It's awesome. It is so, so cool. And she gets like motivation from her ancestors, because maybe one of her ancestors was trans, or like one of her relatives was trans as well. I won't spoil it too much. I don't want to get into it too much, but they did a great job. It just feels like they took a great story. The style of it's so good. Everyone's so cute, like dress-wise. Not that that's important, but it's important to me.
I actually wanted to watch Castlevania. That's another show that I've been pushing off to everyone, like heroin. That watch Castlevania. And Chilling Adventure of Sabrina. But I actually got the full box set of Calvin and Hobbes, and I've been obsessively reading Calvin and Hobbes the whole weekend. It just brought to me so much joy, and the fact that I had to stop reading Calvin and Hobbes to read Saucer Country really annoyed me. I'm like, I want to go read Calvin and Hobbes. Yeah. Total opposite. But the thing is, Calvin, I love it so much. Like, it's written between 85 to 95, 10 years time. But the thing is, I just loved, it's just amazing. Like, he's such a brat, but he's such an adorable brat. And Hobbes is just there giving his wise, wisdom. And the mom and dad are mom and dad. And, they're just so annoyed by him, but they can, they still love him. It's just so perfect. I don't know if either of you read Calvin and Hobbes.
No, I never grew up with any of that, so.
Yeah, but you should. It's so good. I used to read, so here's the thing, I read, strip here and there, and so the thing is, when you're reading it all chronologically, they actually have, an arc, 4 to 5 strip per arc, and then it's intercut by different things. But the thing is, one thing I loved, that he keeps on telling his dad that he's going to lose his dadhood because the poll among the 6-year-olds in the household he's not doing very well, and he needs to give more allowances to kind of do it. And then there was one time he shows up, it's like, Dad, your poll results are in, and the dad is like, be still my heart, but the thing is, when it comes to mom never gets polled. Mom is mom. Mom, every time he's in trouble, mom is the first person that he's going to call and stuff. So I don't know, it's just super cute. So I've been obsessing over that. I'm just oh, it's so good. So yeah, I haven't watched anything, and I want to watch Daredevil season 3, but I'm so scared of Vincent D'Onofrio. I feel like he's gonna come out of the TV and attack me. So
that's fair.
So I can't, after season 1, I was so scared of him. I feel like I need to go behind my thing like this and, have 911 even then, I feel like doesn't matter. I don't know. I've never felt like this. Like this is like one time. Like I feel like a child. Like I just don't have object permit. Like how things work. I feel like like when you were a kid, you see a monster, you're like, oh my god, that's real. I feel like I see Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm like, oh my god, Kingpin is real. I don't want to see this.
That's why it felt good to play the Spider-Man game, because I got to kick his butt right in the beginning of the game and send him to prison. And then he was no problem anymore. That was pretty great.
Maybe I need to do that. So I need to beat him once. Then I'm like, yeah, I can beat him.
It's a good idea.
And then, but I was just so scared. Oh my god. But anyway. Kristan, what have you been up to? Did you watch anything?
I finished Nailbiter.
Ooh! Tell us
and
more.
I think you guys should totally read it. A lot of people, apparently, I looked this up after I finished it, had a major issue with the ending. And you know how I am with endings. I don't think I had an issue with it, so that's interesting. And I'd love to know what you guys think when you finish it. So yeah,
I read the rest.
I really enjoyed it.
I do have the first 2 deluxe, so I was waiting for the 3rd deluxe to come out, which comes out in April
next year sometime.
Yeah, April or June, May, sometime next year. So I'm really thinking about just picking it up then and reading it. Maybe we can do it for next year's Spooktober.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we can probably do it then. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to rant about Star is Born, but I want to do it.
Well,
I don't like it. I don't like it, guys. Something was really bad about it. Like I was angry bored. Like no, I wasn't angry. I wasn't bored. I was just angry the whole time. The whole time from the beginning. I don't even know. No, not from the beginning. Yeah, like I feel like if Rocket Raccoon became a human and wrote and directed a movie, this would be it.
But isn't that what happened?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Like, Rocket Raccoon became a human and wrote and directed this movie. That's
Just
what
go
happened.
watch Venom this week instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch Venom, I'm going to watch Halloween, and then I'm also going to watch Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nice.
So the reason I can do
this,
I have AMC A-list, so I can watch 3 movies free. So
fancy.
Yeah, so I can 3 movies free per week. So I can that's the 3 I'm picking. That I'm gonna go see Venom, and this on my way to work. So I go to the gym, and then with my stinky clothes, I go to see the movie. I sit in the back, so there's no one is stinkified. and then I watch the movie. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. All right. So anything else we want to talk about? I feel like we.
No, I think we got it. I mean,
yeah.
Next week, guys, we're finally going to review
Gem
this
and the
Gem and the Holograms. If I can pick it off my shelf, here we go. Gem and the Holograms. So, please tune in.
Yeah, and so the thing is, we also have a giveaway that was completed for this, and please, those of you, if you're listening, I will be sending this book out to you. I'm sorry I haven't done it yet. I was really busy with some of the other things, and it kind of completely slipped my mind. So those books will come out to you. And do you also want to mention our special announcement? Or do you want to keep it until...
actually say it?
Do you want to say it?
Until next weekend.
We'll save it till next week.
Let's save it till next weekend.
Yeah, save it till next
weekend. So tune in for our super...
There's our deep tease.
Oh, no.
There's a big announcement, guys.
Special guest.
Yeah, we have a
I am reading feverishly for it and get ready.
And I need to start.
Yeah, Kristan needs to start. Yeah. I'm already a huge fan and, probably have read everything. Almost everything. Oh, no, I haven't.
Those are real deep teas.
Yeah, but the thing is, we are really excited about that. But we will announce it next week. I think. Yes, we will announce it next week. So it's going to be, because the reason it is that we kind of have a semi-soft confirmation. So we don't have a full, well, it is kind of full, but we were also told to, remind me to show up. So we're kind of should we? But anyway, so that's going to come up. So yeah, it's a shorter show today, but we kind of talked about all our Spooktacular book. So you still have 3 days to read all of them and get your Halloween on. Then we're going to get ready for Christmas. So, oh no, Thanksgiving in the middle.
Mhm.
So I don't know if there's Thanksgiving themed book. So
We'll find it.
yeah, we'll something to do with Native Americans maybe. So we'll find it. So what's Kristan? What's your pick of the week?
Well, I have to pick something I read on the Spooks list. So I'm going to go with Rachel Rising because even though I'm very upset by the thing that wasn't resolved, everyone should still read it. And apparently the hardcover's out of print, but you can still get the paperback on Terry Moore's website. So get the omnibus if you want it.
Yeah, I did not know that hardcover's out of print. I got it for like, $40 recently.
Me too.
So yeah, okay. So Maddie, what's your pick of the week?
So I decided to pick up Irredeemable by Mark Waid this week. Because I found it on Comixology for free and I'd heard some good things about it. And I loved every second of that one.
So are you finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will say that I read of a similar story, and I don't want to get into it because we've all got stuff to do, but I tried to read The Boys.
Oh.
And I stopped. We don't have to talk about it. I don't talk about it, but I read an Irredeemable, and I was like, oh, this is how you write this.
Right?
This is how you write this.
Right.
And I loved Irredeemable. It was a very, very smart story and explored all the tropes of the superhero genre in a way that I was hoping to see explored. And I don't want to say anything about it, but everyone, please read Irredeemable. You can read all of it on Comixology Unlimited if you have Comixology Unlimited. Please, please, please read it. And then talking about it.
And as a Superman fan, what did you think about it?
Oh, I loved it. Well, it gave me so much more respect for Superman.
Right.
To see what he goes through without doing what that guy did. If that guy wasn't a sociopath also and was raised by good parents, he could have been Superman. And Superman, he just got lucky. DC World just got lucky that Superman was raised the way that he was.
That's one of the reasons I say he's the least interesting character ever put to page because of this. Because he got the most benevolent parents. I'm like, okay, you're like a white guy in Middle America. What's your challenge?
And it proved that power corrupts anyone. So if somebody who was good gets the same amount of power that their Superman gets, not everybody can use that benevolently.
We got way too political this episode. This was a political episode, you guys. Please,
no such thing.
Please vote.
No such thing. Go vote.
Please vote. I mean, we're never going to talk about politics. It's fine. Please vote, though. Hey, please vote. Hey, vote.
And the thing is, how did the last panel what do you think about the last panel?
I don't remember.
Oh, wow. That's the only thing I remember. It's okay, Maddie. We'll chat.
Okay.
But the last panel was really it just kind of brought everything together. And I was like, oh my God, my heart, be still. So that was, all right, so that's yours. So mine would be, this was actually kind of introduced to me by my good friend, Kevin Paul Saison. He's, I think, watching. He talked about this book on Sunbeam by Tilly Walden.
I love her.
Oh, you do? I've never read anything by her.
Yeah.
So I got this book yesterday, it was delivered. And obviously, this was a third-party seller in Amazon, but I got it for super cheap, and there was a little dent. But it's okay. I kind of it's a super good-looking book. And he was the one who kind of introduced about this hardcover edition. So I went and got it. The story looks super interesting and, potentially, may have kick-ass ladies. I haven't read it yet, but I'm picking this because
I'm going to read it with you.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to read this together. And there's also this another book that I picked up, but I'm very scared to read it. Infidel by by this guy. Or, anyways. So I'm really scared to read this because the cover really freaking me out. But apparently it's very good horror story. So this is also something that I'm going to give it a chance. And, let's see how this works. So, yeah, those are mine too. We get the bonus. So anyway, tune in next week. to talk. We are going to talk about Gem and the Hologram finally, and we also have a big announcement. Fingers crossed. Where can people find all the books that we talked about?
On InStockTrades.com.
Ooh, where you can get all the books for up to 42% to 50% off. They're having an amazing sale currently going on, which is like all the damaged and clearance book that can go up to as big as 85% per November 6th. But don't wait too long because the books may be gone before then. So go to InStockTrades.com for all your graphic novel and collected editions needs. You also get free shipping for $50 and more. All right, well, that was our show for today. Thank you so much for joining, and please read the books that we talked about. If you agree, disagree, let us know. Go to our Instagram at Fangirlz with a Z Assemble. We're actually 2 followers away from our 200. So and we're small, but we like to remain small. But look, it's a community vibe to that. But still, we would like more followers because we're attention seekers. So go follow us there and tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.